People often toss around the notion that you can size up someone's character by glancing at their watch or the way they knot their tie. Absurd, right? What's next? Divining someone's favorite dessert from the color of their socks. Give it a rest, but hold on, there's a twist. Turns out there's a surprising litmus test for peering into someone's soul. How they tackle a plate of ribs. Yes, ribs. It's a revelation that hits like a thunderclap after a quiet night. Picture this. A group of friends gathers for a laid-back rib roam. Think of it like a treasure hunt, but instead of gold, the prize is smoky, saucy goodness. Watching how folks handle those bones is a study in human nature. Some leave chunks of meat clinging to the ribs, abandoning them like half-finished novels. Those are the ones to sidestep in life. Then, there are the meticulous types, stripping every last morsel with surgical precision, leaving the bones gleaming like polished marble. These people? They're destined to conquer mountains, and odds are, they've got roots stretching beyond borders. It's a trait often seen in those who've crossed oceans to build new lives. Waste not, want not. There's wisdom in that. Now, shift gears to money matters. Feeling a pang of unease about not having a grip on finances is common. Wrangling dollars and cents into a neat little plan feels like trying to herd cats, elusive and exhausting. Even the most organized minds can stumble when it's time to tally up the monthly tally-ho. Yet, in a world where restraint isn't exactly trending, that kind of thrift stands out like a rare gem. These days, folks shell out more on streaming subscriptions than some spend on rent in other corners of the globe. Designer sunglasses can cost more than a vintage bicycle from decades past. But how often does anyone stop to connect the dots on those expenses? Ever peel open a bank statement, squint at the numbers, and mutter, "Well, that happened?" Or feel a twinge of regret over a splurge, yet dive right back in? Here's the antidote. A gentle nudge toward a smarter way to spend. No more wondering where the cash vanishes each month. Instead, channel it deliberately into nest eggs, future dreams, or even treats that spark joy, while trimming the fat from what doesn't. Before panic sets in at the thought of a rigid ledger, relax. This isn't about chaining life to a calculator. The word budget alone can sour a sunny day. Imagine lounging by a serene lake, surrounded by chirping birds, and someone whispers, "Budget." Suddenly, the scene scatters like startled geese. No one's thrilled about that. Here's the kicker. Barking, "Make a budget," is the kind of hollow advice that experts love to spout. But it lands like a lead balloon. Eyes glaze over faster than a kid zoning out in algebra class. Who's got the stamina to log every coffee and cab ride? A survey once claimed most folks swear they stick to a plan. Pure fiction. An analyst chuckled. They're dreaming of a life they think they should live. That's the truth laid bare. People talk a big game but rarely play it. For ages, financial gurus have waged war on carefree spending, preaching penny pinching like it's gospel. Track every dime, it's foolproof, they cry. Except no, one does it. Tough times might spark a fleeting vow to cut back, but old habits creep in like weeds. Telling someone to ditch their latte habit is like asking a bear to tap dance. It's not happening. Friends shrug off money missteps without a backward glance, racking up debt only to rinse and repeat once the slate's clean. Sound familiar? Enough with the broken record. Let's flip the script and craft a purposeful spending blueprint. Imagine this. Set aside enough each month for the future. Savings, investments, and then revel in the rest without a shred of guilt. It's not magic. It takes a little groundwork. Sketch out where the money flows, even if it's on a napkin over coffee. Worth a few hours to unlock guilt-free dinners or trips? Absolutely. This setup turns financial fog into clarity, leaving friends who lament, "I'm always broke," scratching their heads at the simplicity. The line between stingy and savvy a while back. A chat about dream getaways turned curious. Someone piped up, "Bet that'd be too frivolous for some tastes." Why the hesitation? Turns out there's a myth that money mindfulness means scowling at every dime spent. Far from it. Call out the blunders, like fussing over a $3 parking fee while ignoring a $50 phone bill hike. But don't wag a finger at joy. Some revel in gourmet brunches or far-flung adventures, and that's fine. The trick isn't slashing every expense. It's picking what lights up life and pruning the rest. Ditch the idea that saying no to a splurge makes someone a miser. Skipping a $4 smoothie to stash $20 for a concert isn't stingy. It's strategic. Too many confuse savvy with penny pinching, thinking it's all or nothing. Thrifty folks hoard every cent. I'll never live like that. Parents rarely modeled this balance, so it's no wonder the habit feels foreign. As a society, spending often outpaces earning, and little nudges, like a recession, barely dent the cycle. Why? Comfort's a tough habit to kick, and the economy thrives on it, nearly 3/4 of it, in fact. Friends play a sneaky role, too. Ever notice how a cruise vibe syncs up? At a park, spot a pack of pals. They're likely dressed in sync, despite wallets of all sizes. Keeping pace is a silent sport. Studies even show pals can nudge weight gain. If a buddy bulks up, the odds of following suit jump over 50%. Money's no different. Spending spreads like wildfire. Ever been teased for nursing an old phone while the latest gadget glints across the table? Upgrade already, they jest. The pressure's subtle but real. Splurge on what matters. Being savvy isn't about axing every luxury. It's about cherry-picking passions to indulge and slashing what's meh. Millionaires, per one famous study, often capsuit spending at $500 or shoes at $200, not because they can't afford more, but because they decide what's worth it. The snag? Hardly anyone pauses to define worth it. That's where purposeful spending shines. Take Mia, who drops $6,000 yearly on artisanal teas. Outrageous? Maybe. But she earns well, splits rent with a friend, and skips flashy gadgets. Her tea obsession fuels her. She's maxed her retirement accounts and stashes cash for charity. She's not fussed about a sprawling home, so her cozy nook saves her $500 monthly. Context matters. Or Ethan, who burns $18,000 a year on concerts. Wild? Sure, at $90 a pop, 4 nights a week. Yet his hefty paycheck covers it. He opts out of ritzy trips with colleagues, living in a bare-bones flat, no art, no frills. His investments hum along automatically, leaving him free to rock out guilt-free. Even Lila, earning $38,000 at a community center, saves $5,000 yearly. She cooks, shares a modest space, and tracks every dime with a jar system. Dining out, only if the jar says yes. Her savings fund adventures and a nest egg, proving income's no barrier to intent. These folks aren't the norm. They've cracked the code. Prioritize, automate, enjoy. Most drift through life, snagging new gear or getaways on a whim, then wincing at the fallout. A blueprint flips that. Spend with purpose, not impulse. Crafting a purposeful spending blueprint, budgets flop because they're a chore. A purposeful spending blueprint, though? It's a game changer. Tough to start, but simple to run. Break it down. Fixed needs. Housing. Bills. Future gains. Investments. Dream stash. Goals. And free flow funds. Fun. No overwhelm. Just a quick sketch to steer the ship. Fixed needs. 50–60% of take-home pay. Rent, utilities, essentials. Tally the must-haves from last month's statements, then add 15% for surprises, like a tire blowout or a last-minute gift. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Future gains, 10%. Retirement or long-term bets. Play with a calculator. $150 a month at 8% grows hefty over decades. Small seeds, big trees. Dream stash, 5 to 10%. Vacations, a new ride, a wedding, a $25,000 car down payment in 5 years? That's $416 monthly. Eye-opening, right? Free flow funds, 20–35%. Dinners, movies, whatever. The reward for planning, tweak it monthly. Spot the leaks, say $300 on takeout, and trim smartly. Focus on big wins, not penny hunts. One less night out saves more than skipping napkins. When cash is tight, if every dollar's spoken for, this feels like a pipe dream. Some can't cut more without skipping meals. If that's the case, the fix isn't trimming, it's earning. Negotiate a bump at work. Show your worth. Not your woes, snag a better gig, or freelance, think dog sitting or online gigs. Small hustles add up. Keep it rolling. Once it's humming, tweak weekly. Log cash quick, 7 days max or it's a blur. Surprise costs? Pad fixed needs. Extra cash, like a bonus? Split it. Half for fun, half for growth. Raises? Celebrate. Once, then stash the rest. Lifestyle creep's a trap. This blueprint isn't shackles, it's freedom. Saying no gets easy, not in the plan. Most muddle through, fretting over money later in life. With this, the tough calls happen. Up front, leaving room to savor the wins, guilt-free.